Hey folks, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Whiskerwood in Hickory Dickory Dock. Been spending a bit of time thinking about how we're going to be improving this colony in between episodes, and my main conclusion here is that I think we're having a bit of a mess when it comes to our logistics. Mainly, I think there's a lot of goods that we are way overproducing and I am simply underestimating it. Things like fish, for example, are taking up all of my precious warehouse space, and as a result, some of our whiskers are having to carry goods way further away than they should. So I think what I need to be doing is placing down a lot more dedicated small warehouses, and what I can do is say, hey, some of these different production buildings, you are going to have a set destination for your warehouse. And my understanding is that once they reach capacity in that warehouse, this will automatically stop all production, so your whiskers will go and do other menial chores. So yeah, dedicated warehouses, better logistics, that's one thing. The other thing I've been noticing, and I think is going to be very relevant, is going to be our fertility. Notice in things like cotton, this was a 99% fertility region, now it's down to 36%. Which makes sense, we've been growing crops in this area, taking up all the nutrition in the soil. But if I want to continue boosting up our production, what I'm going to have to do is crop rotations, probably by leaving the fields fallow once in a while so that it can recover. So what I'll need to do is actually set up multiple carefully curated fields and then just every season rotate which ones are active so I can start building up the nutrition again. But here's a weird quirk that I've learned. Apparently, unless tiles are marked as farming tiles, they do not recover nutrition naturally. You have to, even if you've never placed anything here, set down a farming area and then mark it as fallow, and that is what's going to cause this soil to recover and become usable in the future. Kind of a weird quirk. I also think it's generally going to be a more efficient for me to just get rid of all these worthless little cliff faces and stairs and create much larger terrace farms. So with some extra workers around, what I'm going to do is to start digging out a whole bunch of chunks of this mountain, leaving large areas for farms that I can then easily control and make it very simple to micromanage. The good news is I think it's early enough in the game that these little inefficiencies that I've been stacking up should be rectifiable. I don't think we're far enough along that making these tweaks now is going to be unbelievably painful. And that's important because the longer this game goes on, the harder that's going to be, right? Because remember the way that taxes works, it's not just things like your administrative and population tax. Once I start moving toward mass industrialization, then we're going to see our taxes go up dramatically. So before I get to the point where I am really using loads and loads of charcoal, smelting out tons and tons of goods and refining them, we want to get this down pat. We want a good, strong core economy that we can then build upon without it collapsing under its own weight. So I'm going to use fish as my test case to see if I can get this logistics to work and just figure out how the AI actually does things. So what I'm going to do for now is I was thinking, well, what if I took the fishing dock and said I want my logistics to go all the way over here and drop off the fish? But that's a really long walking distance and doesn't seem very, very useful. Instead, what if I set the nearby warehouse over here for the raw fish, but in this small warehouse, I say while it accepts fish, this is not the goal location, right? I want it to carry things like smoked fish, and alternatively over here, I say logistically, I want this to have regular fish. Will that then trigger the logistics folks to say, okay, the fish gets dropped over here, it shouldn't stay here though, it gets dropped over there, so my big carriers bring it over, it gets processed easily, then turned into smoked fish, but not kept here, and instead gets dropped over by the cafe. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it might work. It seems a little convoluted. If it does work though, then I've got it. By the way, I'm wondering if it would be worth trying to go for 2 shipments with the cats here. Would it be worth it just to get the extra machinery and such since it's worth so much? 2 shipments? Possibly some iron bars, some bread is a much better form of food. I don't know, maybe. I think what I'll do for now is lose 1 trust, and then next time they come around, we'll try it. We'll try overproducing and just see if that ends up being better for us. It's not like I've had a lot of value out of their free shipments up to this point anyway, but I'm experimenting, okay? All right, so let's pay attention to what's happening over here. So raw food fish has been delivered directly from the fishing dock, as was expected. And I'm not seeing my logistics people picking up from here, but that's partly because there's so much fish still left in the central warehouse Like, I'm not terribly surprised. It's closer. Of course, that's going to be the first place they pick up from. But what I am seeing happen is my logistics people are coming over here where the smoked fish is being dropped off and then immediately picking it up to then take it over here. I actually do think this is working. I think we just have to wait for all the fish to get cleared out of the central warehouse, then they'll go pick this location, and things will start flowing back and forth as intended. That might be the solution. So then the question becomes, how do I scale that up elsewhere? I mean, obviously we want to have like a warehouse over here, where we are requesting flax that then gets picked up by the weaver, so that's not too far away. And do I care where they drop off their clothes? Maybe. I mean, it's okay if it gets dropped off at the central warehouse, I suppose. That's fine. It just depends on what pathing I want my citizens to take when they pick up some fresh clothes at the end of the day. And right now, it doesn't matter, but come winter when heat matters, maybe then I'll care. By the way, something I'd love to see added into this game, if the devs ever happen to watch this, which you never know, sometimes they do, I'd love to have the option just to upgrade a building directly to its next type of material, rather than have to go through and manually tear everything down. This matters a lot when it comes to things like vertical constructions, because right now, if I wanted to go through and upgrade a bunch of these houses to a slightly better version, I'm going to have to rip down a whole bunch of stuff in order to get to it. And this is only going to get worse as I continue building up. For example, I'm placing a flax spinner right over here, partly because it looks cool, but partly because it's really close to a warehouse with all the flax in it. But notice a different roof here. If I want to eventually swap this out for a nice cut stone building, I'm going to have to tear this sucker down just to access it so I can rebuild it and then rebuild it, and then it's just, it's a bit much. It would be nice. I understand it's impractical. I understand it's not realistic, but it would be nice to just have a little button I click here and it says upgrade. And they'll bring the proper materials, and they'll just build it in place. I would like that a lot. All right, let's go ahead and pay off those taxes. Oh, for 1,000 in debt here. Oh boy, this is gonna be pricey. All right, send the large shipment. That should get me up to maximum trust once again. Let's see if those 2 extra deliveries are gonna be worth it. We can get the carpenter schematic. Well, hello. Wait a minute. That seems like a higher level tech than I'm used to. We'll check that in just a second. Let's go ahead and pick that one up for sure. And then for the other one, I mean, machinery and iron bars seems pretty good. Sure, I'll take that. Okay, that's worth a lot. Those are much larger shipments than I'm used to. So real quick, let's take a look here at our technology. Yeah, Carpenter was a tier 1 tech over here. Okay, so we actually got to skip a little bit. Interesting, good to know. Now I'm starting to wonder if some gold bullion would make some sense from the smugglers, by the way. Because there's a few things we could get rid of we don't need. For example, I'm getting a decent amount of value in fuel. Or am I? Let me think about that for a second. I think a log is worth 8 wealth if I sell it, and 2 becomes 3 fuel. So, no, actually no, that's, well, no, yeah, okay, it is a profit, but it's not a massive profit. Contrast that with planks, where 1 log becomes 5 planks, and all of a sudden, I actually think that turning lots of excess planks into gold bullion might be one reasonable way of dealing with our taxes. I don't feel like I have a huge excess of planks at this time, so I'm not going to do that right now, but that is a thought. By the way, what are ropes good for? Industrial strength rope. I don't know. We should find out what ropes are able to accomplish for us. Maybe they can enhance some of these other buildings, like the sawmill, and make it more effective. Winter's almost here, by the way. We should start thinking about how we're going to deal with that. A bonfire would be one option for us. I think this never officially goes out like the other fire did, so this might be a good option. Question, if I place it on top of a building like this over here, will it actually hit all the buildings underneath it? I assume it does. Because then something like this actually becomes a fairly appealing option for me. We can give that a go. Wait a minute, why is it acting like nothing can reach it? Oh, because I've got these ropes in the way. I've run into this problem more than once. It's like, oh, I placed this warehouse. Why is no one delivering goods? Because you said they're not allowed to be there anymore. That's why. Dumb. Anyway, we'll get those bonfires placed, and then I have to have fire tenders during the winter in order to maintain everything properly. Now, by the way, these bonfires do require actual fuel to operate, so you need to have plenty of fuel come winter. Uh-oh, something's happening. Hold on, no, why are you all going? Oh my God, the travesty of it all. I don't know what was happening there and why all those mice decided to walk in space in this one warehouse. That seems like a weird little bug, but okay. And winter is here, already freezing. Okay, let's go ahead and enable these things, toss in some fuel. Oh, I actually have to have people tending the fire. Whoops, I can't just click the button anymore. It's fine, they should be able to handle it without too much issue, right? So they're gonna go over here to the fire tender. Why are they picking up fuel here instead of actually, like, delivering? Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, not delivering to the bonfire. This has a pretty wide reach to it, by the way. Seems pretty effective. I like it. All that said, I can sense that I'm approaching a death spiral right now, and it's starting to make me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I'm watching my food gradually falling down a lot. My fuel is... it's going through a lot right now because we just lit a lot of it on fire, but besides that, yeah, we've got loads and loads of copper bars. I'm okay on logs now, using up my stone doing a lot of the earthworks. It's food that scares me. Definitely food that scares me. One thing we could do that might help with that is one of the uses we have found for our ropes is to get a... Where is it? There's a netter here somewhere. There it is, over here under apparently food processing? Weird. Okay, anyway, take ropes, assemble them into nets, for the purpose of fishing. Presumably, that will make my fishing more efficient, wouldn't you think? It's a weirdly shaped building, though. It has to be elevated? That's not optional? Well, that's weird. Whatever, we'll just go ahead and place this over here. I think that'll be fine, close to where the ropes are being produced. How are we doing temperature-wise? Pretty darn good in all the places I care about. I mean, really all that matters is that we have heat around high traffic. I don't even know if you technically need to have any heat around your housing. That would make sense, but I'm not sure it's strictly required. I think it's actually just as well if you place some fires near, let's say, all your services. If you know where people are going to go get all of their food and all their clothes and stuff, like the main warehouse, like the cafe, that might be about all that you need in order to take care of your people and give them a brief moment to warm themselves up properly. By the way, I see now where I can use some of these special resources like the fishing nets. It's called a catalyst. Interesting. Do we have catalysts on? We do. Ropes and other things? Hold the phone. Okay, hang on. Ropes actually are incredibly valuable to me then. So what can I use it on then? I can use... Okay, that's table salt for the smokery. Fire tongs for furnaces. Okay, the weaver requires furniture. No, what is that? That's a house. Never mind, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Weaver requires scissors. Okay, same thing with the flax spinner. Interesting. Okay, so there's actually a very good reason then to create a whole bunch of different intermediary products so we can use that to boost up the efficiency of what we've already got. Better to be more efficient with fewer workers than to just spread wide. You know what I mean? So I'm going to allow this guy to go pick up some ropes and let's just sort of see what happens. There we go. It's, I guess, just what, 25% more efficiency and production speed? I mean, that still adds up over time. Oh, goody, a new quest. Apparently... Apparently, I have not been showing the proper respect to the cats. Which, yeah, you caught me out there. Build 8 statues, claw visages. Oh boy, you'll take that off my tax burden, huh? You know, I actually don't mind that so much because I'm pretty sure it actually does motivate your whiskers. So that's a thing. I just don't think that I have the ability to do this yet because you never gave me the gosh dang schematic. So now I know the value of getting something like a coppersmith. This is how we can get some scissors. And if I eventually learn how to get bronze, fire tongs, bronze nails, yeah, other catalysts. Now, does it increase my actual productivity in terms of base numbers or just in terms of speed? Because if it's speed, that's obviously good, but it means I need to make sure I am increasing my base production of raw resources in order to keep up with the increased pace. I don't know. These are all the sort of things I have to think through. I have played a lot of these kinds of games in my time. Like, a lot of them. This one feels a little different, though, from the others, which is pretty refreshing. Dangerously low on food now, by the way. Dangerously low on food. Got myself a second fishing dock. Hopefully that will help a little bit, especially if I activate the fishing nets as a new catalyst. But yeah, we better pick up the pace here or we're not gonna make it into next summer. These snowstorms aren't helping. Heavy speed penalty whenever you're on unheated ground. So getting anywhere is extremely slow right now. We're also running out of fuel at an alarming rate too. Yeah, this winter has not gone nearly as well here. Part of the problem is I actually have a warehouse that's dedicated to copper as well as fuel. But when this thing fills up, everyone stops doing their jobs. So I really actually need to have dedicated storage for each resource, or otherwise things can fall apart. Oh boy. All right, well, we finished up all of the tier 0 technologies and schematics. Let's go ahead and move on to research tier 1. That is a very pricey deal, isn't it? Winter is coming to an end, which of course means it's tax season again, as always. I'm once again gonna barely not pay my full amount here, just getting myself down a little bit. So we lose a little trust, but I save myself like 300 wealth for the next time around. Dude, it would be really neat if winter would end any time now. I mean, it's been spring and it's still freaking freezing. You know, this is how it works in the real world too, though. Personally, I always feel like winter ought to be over by like January, and February is like when it starts to warm up. But no, February is usually still like the depths of winter, at least where I live. March often is too. It's really only until like April that things start turning around. But I'm always like, isn't December like, you know, it's Christmas. It's supposed to be winter then. No, it's basically like late November all the way through like late March. That's typically how winter works for us. It sucks. I hate it. Now, see, for this upcoming tax season, I'm going to put into practice that idea I had in the last video, where maybe I can manipulate the prices and how I ship things to the cats. So they'll be arriving here today. Remember, we underpaid them last time, and that saved me about 300 wealth, because we had a really big tax bill. Now I have a much smaller tax bill at 567. Now, if I want to overpay them here, we'll only have to pay about 717 as opposed to 567. So it's going to cost me about 150 more or so, and I saved 300, and I could have done that twice, by the way, because we're getting 2 trusts back. So if I fail this twice in a row, saving like, let's say 300 or 400 wealth each, and then I have a really small tax bill when I need to get my 2 trust back, this is basically a way of getting free money. Unless I'm really misunderstanding how this works. Now, of course, we're missing out on any of these rewards, so you have to keep that in mind. But if your goal is to really save wealth, go ahead and have 2 seasons where you take out as much debt as you think you need to, and then on your last one, take out as little debt as possible for that entire cycle, and then just pay a little bit more. Boom, problem solved, trust taken care of, and you save a lot of wealth. Oh look, the claws visage. Finally, I'll take that. My new big concern here is I think we're really running out of anything the cats want. Like, I really don't have a lot left to go with here. Ooh, what do we actually have? We've got some coal and copper ore. I've got like no cotton left at all. We might need to disable the ore furnace for a bit and just go a straight out copper mining for a little while, because, I got some concerns here. Most of my cotton fields are a little bit on the fallow side at the moment. I can try activating some of these again, and it will help. And we have improved our nutrients by a fair bit, but it's not enough, and I still need to remove a lot of the rocks. This is all going to work out really well if I can just get to the next phase, where my farming is fully laid out and everything is getting fertile. Like, it'll look great if we can get to that point. That's the real trick, though, ain't it? Let's try placing down some of these claws visages, by the way. Intimidate all of our passing whiskers. Again, I think it's supposed to make them work a little bit harder, I think. Nothing like the fear of impending death to get someone to put their back into it. I think the best approach to have with the farmers is not to worry so much about rocks at this stage. When we're in the prime growing seasons of spring and summer and so on, don't use remove rocks, just let them grow whatever is going to have the best fertility for the moment, or just let the thing lie fallow entirely. Come fall and winter, when you're not going to have a lot of growth, that's when you probably want to go ahead and start removing rocks. They got nothing to do anyway, nothing's going to grow, they might as well just make it better for the next season. I assume it'll work that way. Could be wrong. Hey, research tier 1 is finally done. Okay. Anything in here that's going to really change up my game for me? Well, better abodes. Yeah, sure, it would be nice to be able to start making some good stone houses. I feel like quality and expectations haven't been so much of the issue, though, truth be told. Replacing some of my wooden stairs with stone stairs, now that could be nice. Much faster travel speed. I like that a lot. Wheat cultivation, elevators, luxury supplier? Interesting. I don't know if this is a manufacturing method. It doesn't seem like it. Seems like something you would attach to, let's say, a trading post and have people come and ship you some luxury goods. That's my guess. I don't know for sure, though. Fabrics are going to be an option for us. We could start using threads to make fabric, or just go directly from flax into thread. All right. Water pumping? Why would I want this, though? This is one thing that I don't know. Why do I want water? Nowhere have I found anything yet that seems to need water. There it is. Found it. Okay. So soup kitchens, showers presumably? Yeah, those all require water. Interesting. Okay. We're seeing how this works. And then, of course, there's the conveyor belts we had talked about, larger warehouses, heating stove, which I would like to think, yeah, it's just more fuel efficient than what we had before, so we'll want this before the next winter. Bronze. Oh, good lord, there's so much. There's so much in this game. Let's start working on things like stone pathing and stone stairs, all right? Anything that's going to speed me up, all right? The faster my whiskers move around, the better. Though for that, we're going to need a lot more stone. Oh, I did find the usage for the intimidating visage over here. So, yes, it scares and induces approval, but if you look at things like their it just went away. Movement speed went up by like 30%, though. So, actually, yes, it does make your whiskers work better, even though you are sacrificing approval to do so. And that's honestly kind of fine with me, because I've never had issues getting a lot of approval, but I definitely have issues with my whiskers working as fast as possible. Starting up day 66. Really pushing it when it comes to our debt situation right now. We do not have a lot of things like copper ore in order to pay off of this. In fact, right now I'd have to offload almost all of my coal and almost all of my copper to survive. But some cotton is just about ready to start getting harvested here pretty soon. So I'm hopeful that if we can have one more easy tax season, the next one we'll be able to knock it out of the park. Such is the thought. And then from there on out, I should be getting stronger and stronger as time goes on. I almost feel like I should be an entirely agricultural economy at this point, and I think that's the entire point of the game. Start off very agriculturally based, get a lot of resources, and then mass industrialization as you technologically advance. I'm pretty sure that is exactly the intent. And I ain't gonna lie, that's actually pretty nifty in my opinion. And approval is still looking just fine, even though I'm scaring the crud out of my mice. I don't know, guys, I'm starting to respect this game more and more. Like, I already kind of liked it, and I thought it was very cute, but the deeper I'm getting into it, the more I'm realizing this game can get pretty darn involved. And it's intentionally easing me into a lot of things, and that's very, very impressively done. Tax collector once again. Remember, though, we will be paying a smaller bill, so I intentionally did rack up a good chunk of debt. Thank God the cotton is here. That'll do the job. Okay, get out of here, you stupid cats. Why are we not producing any more cut stone? Oh, remember how I said that we have to have, like, dedicated storages for literally everything? Yeah, I wasn't kidding. I think that literally these guys are not producing anything because the output is full. I have to have a different warehouse for every freaking resource in the game. I will admit that does get a little bit tedious. Actually, you know, another thing that would be really good for an improvement to the game, if there were some sort of a notification saying workers idle, you know, output full or something along those lines. That way I could be a little bit more efficient at micromanaging my pops and see everything kind of up front. Rather than have to go hunt through and say, oh, well, I know exactly how much stone we can hold before I get capped out of my resources. You get the idea? I think that would be good. And we have our stone stairs. Question, do we have, like... No, we don't have long stairs. That's the thing, though. Do I care about long stairs anymore? I mean, they take up a lot of extra space to make people move faster. But now stone stairs are... Oh, wait, no, these are long. Oh, okay. I thought maybe these were just going to be a replacement for the regular steep stairs. All right, so we still don't have a steep option for faster stairs, and we should use this as little as possible. But anything like this, for example, we should just go ahead and get rid of and replace with the stone. So something like that. Oh, that looks very pretty. Can't say that I see much of a difference when it comes to walking speed, if I'm honest, so I'm not sure I really believe that it's that much better, though. Looks about the same to me. Remember, I'm trying to keep my tax bill as low as possible right now. In fact, one thing I'll just do is real quick place down 3 more of these to finish off the quest. That gets me a huge tax credit, thank you. Recycle those statues, get the materials back, and now I only owe 35 gold. Oh, I am going way over the required amount here. I'm going to give you like 3 times the required shipment. We're going to max this sucker out. I think I found the strat, guys. Wait, how did the bill jump back up to 226? Good lord. You guys need to be very clear with your taxes up front, okay? Look, I'm already sick of having to file my taxes with the dang IRS. Oh, we know exactly how much you owe, but we're not going to tell you what it is. You got to do the math and figure it out yourself. These guys are doing the same thing. They just keep raising the taxes, and I'm supposed to guess by the end of the season what my actual liability is going to be. That's scummy. All right, whatever. Tax collector, hi. How you doing? Would you like to have a stupid amount of money? Max amount over here. Give me all of that trust right back. We're gonna get 3 seals and so many bonuses, including an effect, and it's only gonna cost me 409 wealth in total. That's a pretty decent deal in my opinion for what we're gonna get. Pretty darn decent. So let's see, we can get the elevators for free. Sure, why not? That sounds good. Ration meals and spices, medicine, soap, tea, fertilizer. Ooh, yes, that means I can make more money. We're gonna take that for sure. Oh, only 2? Oh man, I thought I was gonna get 3. I got greedy. Whatever. It's still a good choice. Trying to see what else we might be missing, by the way, in our new set of buildings. Like, we got that carpenter a while back. But what good is this exactly? It turns planks into wooden vices. Presumably that's gonna be a catalyst for something. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. Like, I don't see it being useful for anything I'm currently working on. Maybe if I start making furniture or something. I could see that making sense. Use a vice to hold down the furniture so you can make it more effectively. We would need to get a new schematic, and then the carpenter could do exactly that, but he would need bronze nails to start making furniture. And what does that do for me exactly? What does that do? It just gives me approval? The thing is, I don't know. I feel like expectations and approval has not been my main issue here. For the most part, I'm generating plenty. So, like, what's the pressure there exactly? Why would I waste a lot of time making bedding and furniture? I'm sure we will find out as I get further and further down all of the different research trees and we have more and more whiskers. At some point, it's going to be a necessity. By the way, another thing we could consider doing at some point, this would be prime farming real estate. Like, it's a perfect little farming island. It's even got a lot of stuff to harvest. If I wanted to, it's entirely possible we could create ourselves like a bridge, you know? Make a little bridge over this island and start using it. I don't think we're at that stage yet, but soon maybe. Gosh dang pirates! Oy, oy, oy. Just get out of here, leave me alone. It's a good thing I'm not hurting from machinery at all. Wheat cultivation is now done. Good. What I'm working toward right now is trying to get some better food. With the mills and bakery, I'm hoping between bread and fish, we're gonna be set on food so we can start exploding our population. Because I think that pretty soon that's what I need to do. Like, if we're going to start moving toward mass industrialization, I need a lot of whiskers in order to do all of those jobs. And since we are clearly producing lots and lots of food, like, I feel like we could probably sustain a bit more than I've got right now. I don't understand fertility, by the way, I think. Because right here, what I see, if I click on this crop field, 58% fertility, why does it say 100% right up over here? Why is that a thing? Does that make any sense to anyone else? It probably, I feel like they're telling me 2 different stories, like 93 versus 83 here, but I don't understand what story they're trying to tell because it's the same lingo, so you would think they would be consistent. Wait, why did this drop down 57 versus 69? Well, they're just fluctuating a lot. Now I'm really confused. Maybe it means crop fertility versus harvest readiness, because this just dropped down to 10% after we harvested some more. Maybe that's it. I think we're just about done with this video, though. Let's take a look at our total resources. All right, I'm back up to 70 cotton, so we have a decent amount of value sitting around. That's solid. Plus a bunch of copper and the coal and so on. Why do we not have any ropes? Hold on. Flax spinner. Output full again. Gosh dang it! What do you mean output full? Oh, wait, this is where it's retrieving resources. Where are you delivering it? No, I think it's delivering over here. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Total capacity, raw materials, supplies. There's no reason for you to be output full here. There's no reason for this at all. But if I set another place... Oh, wait a minute. It's over here, isn't it? Hang on. Storage. Right, logistics. Where is the... Did I set a cap to rope? I said we don't want rope at all. Okay, I think that might be the issue then. I think we literally... Gosh dang, I'm still learning, okay? I'm still learning here. I'm pretty sure that they stopped producing it because they were told they have to deliver to a warehouse that doesn't accept it. Therefore, it was quote-unquote full. Yeah, all right. Little mistakes like that just cost me who knows how much productivity. Whoops. Anyway, we've got our mill. We're about to get our bakery. We're in summer right now, so it might be too late to do anything good like planting down wheat. Not to mention, it looks like we're going to need some pretty high levels of fertility for that to work. And I don't think a single field I have remaining is in good shape for that right now. Yeah, I don't know. That's I think, one of the things that I'm going to find the hardest to find a good balance for and remember to do is lots of crop rotations, but we need to have enough space that I feel like I can have lots of fallow fields all at a time, Right now, I don't feel like I'm at that stage, but we're getting a lot closer over time. We just need to remove the rocks and give these fields a little bit more time to do their work. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end this video. I don't know, guys. I'm getting more and more impressed the further I get into this game. We're still only barely digging our claws into it. And I say that with all the puns intended. And it's just impressive. The further we get along, the more complicated things are going to get. And yet, it's largely intuitive, a little slow, but largely intuitive. And I will say I'm kind of loving the verticality aspect of building out my town over here. It looks simple, but it's getting more and more complicated. We're taking advantage of this tight space and fitting a lot in it. I kind of figured by now we'd be sprawling and taking over this entire island. But we have so much further that we could go if we want to. That's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm enjoying playing this game. It certainly seems like you guys are enjoying watching it, but continue to let me know in the comments section down below or by hitting that thumbs up button so I know that you want to continue with this series, you want to see more content, because I've got a long way to go. I can do so much more. It all just depends on you guys. Otherwise, I'll just simply say thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.